We're going to show you some really shocking criminal acts that were caught on tape. You're going to meet the people whose lives have been forever changed by these crimes. Oh, I feel so for you, Sandra. Let me explain, okay? Hold my hand. Sandra was horrified to learn that her husband was shot to death while working at their family store. Now, what is incredible is this tragic murder was actually caught on surveillance cameras. Now, when I saw this, I thought, this is a reenactment. I mean, how can this possibly be real? This is not a reenactment. This is the real crime. Would you please take a look? You know, as I said, that's just impossible. Can you give me a hug? Oh, my poor thing. That's too hard for you to watch.
Yes, it is.
Here, let me help.
It is.
And you've seen it, right? And each time it does that to you.
Each time. It's fresh. It's just like it was yesterday.
What goes through your mind when you see that?
I think of my husband and the fear he must have felt 'cause he saw the gentleman or the person in the parking lot of our store with the guns. And as you see him run across the screen, he's running for safety, but it was too late. He never made it.
How did you hear about this?
I received a phone call from my husband's cousin. And he said, I have some bad news. And I thought, well, you know, what could be bad news? I said, what is it? He said, Ricky's been shot and it doesn't look good. And I remember screaming at my children to let's go, because I think he told me he was at the hospital. I don't know.
What happens is the floor comes up and hits you,
and
you
hits
don't
you in
know.
the face. And you
Now, you and your husband owned a convenience store, which is a dangerous business anyhow.
Yes.
And you were not in a good area of town,
No,
were you?
we were not. No, we weren't.
But you'd been there a long time. You loved the people, and you didn't want to leave.
The area was, the people were wonderful to us. We'd been there 4 years and hadn't had any major
Sentence. But there are some times when I've thought about your case, and I don't know what I would have done. I honestly don't know that you did anything wrong. You did a lot of things right, too. Mm-hmm. This is a very terrible story. Renee, we have changed Renee's name to protect your identity. Let me understand something.
Okay.
You had a man working in your house
Right.
who was a relative of a close friend.
Best friend. Right.
Best friend's relative. And he was working in your house for a long time. Mm-hmm. So you did what I do.
Right.
You were home most of the time watching the man do the work.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And you and the man got very friendly.
Right.
Because he's there hammering and doing everything.
He seemed completely innocent.
You talk about everything, you know him. A year goes by. This is a trusted man. You leave him with your child. Sick. She's 2 years old. How did you find out what happened?
I left that morning. Everything was fine. Around 3 or 4 o'clock that day, I got a phone call from home. And he said...
It was this man
Yes.
who, for the first time, said he'd watch your child, that
Right.
we just saw.
Right.
He called you and said what?
Something had happened to my daughter. At that point, I didn't know what it meant. He said that he thinks she might have been molested, sexually molested.
You must have gone crazy. You rushed home, right?
Exactly, exactly.
And what happened when you got home?
I'd come home and I asked him what happened, and he said he didn't know. He gave a bath and she looked red.
That's what he claimed.
Yes, he said that she looked red. I didn't know what he was doing giving her a bath. I didn't ask him to give her a bath. I just asked him to supervise while I was at work. And so I, looked at her. She didn't look red anymore. She looked fine to me. Well, I sat down at my computer and I was getting
a chilling attack on his job. Let me see, Robert, if I can explain this, because it came out of nowhere, right?
Came out of
Out
nowhere.
of nowhere. Robert has been driving a truck
7
driver,
years.
for 7 years.
7 years.
7 years he would, to this town, not a town he lives in, just a town he goes to when he's a truck driver.
Make deliveries every
Make
day.
his delivery every single day. Nothing, doesn't know anybody in the town except the man. One day he goes into this glass store where he's making a delivery, and he hears the screeching of brakes. It's during the middle of the day.
No, it was actually I was making a delivery, and somebody was trying to put my truck into gear.
Well, but what time of day was it?
It was about 3:30 in the afternoon.
Okay, middle of the day, he hears the screeching of brakes, thinking somebody's stealing his truck in this town. That's never happened in 7 years. The
Never
guy
happened.
runs out, and watch this.
When I got in the truck, I didn't think I was getting home alive. I was doing everything I could to get out of the truck. I was in complete shock. I thought I was dead.
Well, you thought somebody was stealing your truck. You got in the truck. The man assaulted you, and what did he say to you?
He said if I didn't get off the street, he was going to kill me.
7 years ago, me and my husband bought our dream house. Since then, people in our neighborhood have made our lives a living hell. They curse us, they threaten our lives, and they harass us every time we leave our house.
Why don't you leave us alone? Why don't you leave us alone?
They blow up explosives and carry around guns just to scare us. Our home has become a prison that we are scared to leave.
You're frightened for your life. Why?
I can't go out in my yard or anything without the neighbors acting like they did on TV.
This is your first house.
Yes.
When I said, why don't you move?
Well, my father just recently had a major stroke prior to all this, and we did try moving once, but it didn't change. When they seen us in a town 20 or 30 miles away, we were approached again.
When you say they, is this a bunch of neighbors who are doing this to you?
Our
or
immediate neighbors.
Just a couple of neighbors.
Behind us and then next to us.
So there's two families that are doing this to
Yes.
you.
Yes. city
You were
council,
doing
too.
yard work one day, Karen, and something awful happened to you. What happened?
My dog barks when he sees me, and I always acknowledge him, and I turned around to acknowledge him, and I seen a red dot in the middle of his head. And I just got scared and went in the house. I didn't know. I just don't know what to do.
No matter what it takes, you got to get out of there. We've been hearing from people touched by crimes that are caught by a camera. Randy, this time the camera in question is your camera. You are a heck of a guy. I really think so. Listen to this guy. He set up a hidden camera in a meat smoking machine. What?
It just happened to fit.
Why?
There was a door with a hole for the handle, and when I was looking for a place that I could film the dog door.
Now, wait, Randy. I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, let's go back. You live, there you are, putting a camera in a meat machine. Now, start with me. You live in a neighborhood, you got a dog door.
Oh, a big dog and a big dog door. That's the unusual thing about my burglary. I had a 95-pound Chesapeake Bay Retriever. No strangers are coming in the house. It's a friend, somebody that I trust.
Well, wait. When did you notice things were missing?
Well, it's like any other burglary. I came home one day after work and the house had been ransacked, and I had, well, it was my grandfather's service revolver missing. So I'm responsible for that getting out into public, but it's also sentimental.
Right.
And it didn't quit. It wouldn't go but a couple of weeks sometimes, and over the course of 2 years, dozens of times.
They even took your change from the top of your bureau.
Regularly. They'd lock the deadbolt. If I came home and the deadbolt was locked, I knew they had been in
How
there.
many times were you robbed? Everybody, it seems, has a video camera. And it seems to me that that's a little too much. However, there's a positive side of this, and that is that more and more of those cameras are catching criminals at work. So that's the good side of it, right? All of these stories, we would not have known the outcome if these people had not used cameras. Our next tape shows how bad things can get when a 13-year marriage goes up in flames, pardon the pun.
It takes time to get over a divorce, but this ex still wants revenge. He's vandalized their home, set 2 fires, and has more trouble in store. But this time, his wife is prepared. Determined to stop him for good, she set up a video camera, and just look what she caught. Within moments, the family truck is engulfed in flames.
Wow, okay, no one was hurt. And with this tape as evidence, the smoldering ex was convicted of 4 felony arsons, and he was sentenced to 14 months in prison. This should cool his heels permanently. Last year, we did a show called Sex, Crimes, and Lies on the Net. Now, on that show, we met Cassandra Harris. Boy, am I impressed by her. Cassandra, who is kind of small, posed as a 13-year-old boy who was lured into meeting a much older man.
For a little while, I was excited to come and meet with you today. I understand that. So what do you want to do today? Sure. Sounds good. Yeah, sounds good to me. Kind of nervous today. So no work today? Or tomorrow? Cool. Yeah, I'm pretty nervous. Okay.
Police officer, put your hands up. Put your hands up. Police officer, hands up. Put your hands up. Relax, relax.